Hey everyone, today I want to talk about a mistake many guys make being too friendly with girls they're interested in. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a nice guy, but if you're always just the friendly guy, you might be pushing yourself into the friend zone without even realizing it. When it comes to interacting with women, many men fall into the trap of being overly friendly, thinking that kindness alone will lead to attraction. While being a nice person is essential in any social setting, it is not enough to create romantic interest. Friendliness without attraction often leads to a dynamic where a man becomes just another friend, rather than a potential romantic partner. This is where many men struggle, as they assume that being available, helpful, and agreeable will naturally develop into something more. However, this approach usually results in being overlooked in favor of men who bring a sense of excitement, challenge, and confidence to the table. The issue with being excessively friendly is that it creates an imbalance in the way the relationship develops. Women are not just looking for someone who is nice, they are looking for someone who can spark chemistry. Chemistry comes from a mix of emotional, physical, and intellectual stimulation. When a man plays it too safe and focuses solely on being friendly, he removes the elements of mystery, excitement, and challenge that often fuel attraction. In contrast, when a man is confident, assertive, and slightly unpredictable, he triggers emotions that make a woman feel drawn to him in a way that goes beyond simple friendship. One of the biggest misconceptions men have is that if they are always there for a woman, she will eventually realize his worth and develop romantic feelings. However, in reality, when a man constantly makes himself available, always agrees with her opinions, and never challenges her in any way, he ends up being categorized as a dependable friend rather than a desirable partner. This happens because attraction is not built on availability alone, it thrives on a mix of emotional highs and lows, playful tension, and a sense of intrigue. A woman needs to feel excited and engaged, not just comfortable. If everything feels too easy and predictable, there is no thrill in the interaction, and without thrill, romantic attraction does not develop. Another crucial aspect to consider is that women, like men, are naturally drawn to confidence and assertiveness. When a man is overly friendly, he sometimes does so because he fears rejection or confrontation. He thinks that if he avoids any form of disagreement, always compliments her, and never takes risks, she will see him as the perfect choice. However, this approach often has the opposite effect. When a man fails to show any depth or emotional strength, he comes across as passive, which is not an attractive trait. Women appreciate kindness, but they also want someone who has a strong sense of self, someone who is willing to lead, take initiative, and challenge them in a healthy and engaging way. Consider the difference between two types of men. One man constantly tells a woman how amazing she is, always listens to her problems, agrees with everything she says, and never makes a move. The other man is still kind and respectful, but he also teases her playfully, occasionally disagrees with her in a confident and light-hearted way, and makes his intentions clear early on. The first man is likely to be seen as a supportive friend, while the second man creates a dynamic that is more exciting and flirtatious, which often leads to attraction. It is also important to recognize that many women value a sense of challenge in a relationship. This doesn't mean playing games or being manipulative, but rather creating an interaction that is engaging and dynamic. When a man is too friendly, he removes all sense of challenge. If a woman knows that no matter what she does, he will always be there, always agree with her, and never push back, then there is no tension or excitement. On the other hand, when a man is confident enough to set boundaries, express his own opinions, and keep a bit of mystery in the interaction, he becomes much more interesting. This is not to say that men should act distant or rude in order to create attraction. The goal is to strike a balance. Friendliness is an important quality, but it should be paired with self-respect, assertiveness, and a willingness to express romantic interest. A man should not be afraid to flirt, make his intentions clear, or take the risk of showing interest. Some men hesitate because they fear rejection, but the reality is that taking the chance to express attraction is the only way to move beyond friendship. A woman will respect a man who confidently expresses his feelings far more than one who passively waits for her to make a move. In the end, attraction is about more than just being nice. It is about creating an emotional response, making a woman feel something beyond simple comfort. If a man is too friendly without bringing in elements of playfulness, confidence, and flirtation, he may be liked, but he will not be desired in a romantic way. It is crucial to understand that attraction is not a logical choice, it is an emotional reaction. A woman doesn't decide to be attracted to someone just because he is always available and kind. She is drawn to someone who makes her feel something different, something exciting and something engaging. Therefore, men who find themselves constantly being seen as just a friend need to reevaluate their approach. Instead of focusing solely on being nice, they should focus on being engaging. This means teasing playfully, not always agreeing, showing confidence, and making their intentions clear from the beginning. Women appreciate men who have the courage to stand out, take risks, and bring a spark into their interactions. By making a conscious effort to go beyond simple friendliness, men can create the chemistry that turns interactions into something more than just friendship. Many men unknowingly fall into the trap of constantly seeking approval from women, believing that by always agreeing, always being available, and never asserting their own desires, they will earn affection. However, this mindset often leads to disappointment and frustration, because it positions them as someone who is overly accommodating rather than someone who is confident and self-assured. Instead of inspiring attraction, this behavior tends to create an imbalance, where one person gives too much while expecting validation in return. The key to breaking free from this pattern is understanding the importance of self-worth and setting boundaries. Seeking approval is often rooted in insecurity. Many men have been conditioned to believe that they must earn a woman's attention by proving their worth through constant acts of kindness, generosity, and self-sacrifice. While being a kind and caring person is an admirable trait, it should never come at the cost of one's own self-respect. A man who constantly prioritizes a woman's needs over his own, in hopes that she will reward him with affection, is not acting out of genuine confidence but out of fear of rejection, fear of being alone, and fear of not being enough. This fear leads to behaviors that signal desperation, which is never attractive. One of the biggest problems with approval-seeking behavior is that it makes a man appear weak. When a man is too eager to please, always agreeing, always saying yes and never standing up for himself, he sends a message that he lacks personal standards. Women respect men who have a strong sense of self, who know what they want, and who are not afraid to express their opinions. If a man avoids confrontation at all costs, fearing that disagreeing might push a woman away, he is showing that he values her opinion more than his own. This creates a one-sided dynamic where the man is constantly trying to win her approval instead of being his authentic self. Setting boundaries is a crucial step in establishing self-respect. Boundaries communicate that a man values his own time, energy, and emotions. They show that he is not willing to be treated in a way that is disrespectful or unbalanced. Many men make the mistake of believing that setting boundaries will push people away, but in reality it has the opposite effect. When a man establishes clear boundaries, he naturally commands more respect. Women, like all people, are drawn to those who have a strong sense of self-worth. They find confidence attractive, and part of confidence is the ability to say no when necessary. For example, if a man is always available whenever a woman calls, cancels his own plans just to accommodate her, and allows her to take him for granted, he is not displaying strength, he is showing neediness. A confident man, on the other hand, knows that his time is valuable. He does not drop everything just because a woman wants his attention. He makes it clear that while he enjoys spending time with her, he has his own priorities, and he expects the same level of respect in return. This does not mean being rude or dismissive, it simply means valuing oneself enough to maintain balance in the relationship. Another aspect of setting boundaries is being able to express personal standards without fear of rejection. Many men stay in situations that are not fulfilling because they are afraid to speak up. They tolerate behaviors that make them uncomfortable or accept treatment that is unfair, all because they do not want to risk losing the woman's attention. This approach only leads to resentment and a loss of self-respect. A man who knows his worth is not afraid to communicate his needs. If a woman is being disrespectful, playing games, or treating him as an afterthought, he is not afraid to walk away. He understands that true attraction is based on mutual respect, not one-sided effort. Men who struggle with approval-seeking often feel anxious about making a woman upset. They believe that if they challenge her, disagree with her, or set limits, she will lose interest. But the truth is that women appreciate men who stand their ground. A man who respects himself enough to say, "This is what I want, and this is what I won't tolerate," is far more attractive than a man who bends over backward just to keep the peace. Confidence is about knowing that you are enough as you are without needing constant validation from someone else. Additionally, when a man stops seeking approval and starts setting boundaries, he begins to attract different kinds of women. A man who lacks boundaries often attracts women who take advantage of his kindness, but a man who has standards naturally draws in women who respect him and see him as a person of value. He no longer wastes time trying to win over someone who does not appreciate him because he knows that his worth is not dependent on someone else's validation. One of the most powerful ways to stop approval-seeking behavior is to focus on self-improvement. When a man builds a life that he loves, whether it's through career growth, hobbies, fitness, or personal development, he naturally becomes more confident. He no longer feels the need to impress others because he is already fulfilled. This shift in mindset changes the way he interacts with women. Instead of looking for validation, he looks for a meaningful connection. Instead of constantly trying to prove himself, he simply shows up as his authentic self, knowing that the right people will appreciate him for who he is. Attraction is not about being perfect or always saying the right thing. It is about being real, being confident, and having a strong sense of self-worth. A man who is not afraid to be himself, who does not rely on external validation, and who is comfortable setting boundaries will naturally command more respect and admiration. Women are not looking for a man who follows them around seeking approval. They are looking for a man who leads his own life with confidence and purpose. In the end, true connection comes from mutual respect, not from one person constantly trying to please the other. A man who values himself, sets boundaries, and refuses to seek approval will not only feel more fulfilled, but will also attract the kind of relationships that are based on genuine connection rather than desperation. The moment a man stops seeking validation from others is the moment he truly begins to embody confidence, and that is what makes him truly attractive. Many men struggle with turning friendly interactions into something more because they hesitate to flirt or show their romantic intentions early. They assume that if they build a strong connection first, attraction will naturally follow. However, this approach often leads to being placed in the friend zone, where their romantic interest is never reciprocated. The key to avoiding this situation is to flirt and express interest early in the interaction. By doing so, a man sets the right tone from the beginning and creates an atmosphere where attraction can develop. Flirting is an essential part of romantic interaction because it adds excitement, playfulness, and emotional stimulation. When a man engages in flirting, he signals confidence and interest, making it clear that he sees the woman as a potential romantic partner rather than just a friend. This is important because attraction is not purely logical, it is an emotional response. If a woman does not feel a spark or excitement early on, she is unlikely to suddenly develop romantic feelings later. This is why waiting too long to show interest can backfire, as it allows the interaction to settle into a purely platonic dynamic. One reason men hesitate to flirt is fear of rejection. They worry that if they show their romantic intentions too soon, the woman might pull away. However, this fear is often based on a misunderstanding of attraction. Women appreciate confidence, and a man who is unafraid to express interest in a playful, engaging way is far more appealing than one who hides his feelings. The key is to flirt in a way that is natural and fun rather than forced or overly aggressive. Playful teasing, maintaining strong eye contact, using light physical touch when appropriate, and making bold yet respectful compliments are all effective ways to show intent without being overbearing. Another mistake men make is waiting for the perfect moment to express their interest. They assume that if they spend enough time around a woman, she will eventually realize his worth and fall for him. In reality, this approach often leads to disappointment. Women do not fall for men just because they are always around. They fall for men who make them feel something different. If a man interacts with a woman in a way that is no different from how her other male friends treat her, there is no reason for her to see him as anything more than a friend. To prevent this from happening, a man should establish romantic tension early. This means injecting flirtation into the conversation from the start, rather than waiting until he feels it is safe to do so. For example, instead of just making neutral, friendly statements, he can challenge her in a playful way. If she says she enjoys a certain type of music, instead of just agreeing, he can teasingly say, "Really? I thought you had better taste than that." This kind of playful banter keeps the conversation dynamic and engaging, making it clear that he is not just another friend, but someone with whom she can share a fun, exciting connection. Physical presence and body language also play a major role in flirting and showing intent. Many men make the mistake of keeping too much distance, avoiding eye contact, or standing stiffly during conversations. These behaviors signal nervousness rather than confidence. A man who maintains good posture, makes strong eye contact, and subtly leans in when speaking to a woman conveys confidence and assertiveness. Subtle touches, like a light touch on the arm during laughter or a playful nudge, can also help build attraction by creating a sense of physical connection. Another powerful way to express romantic intent is through direct compliments. Many men are afraid to compliment a woman because they think it might come across as too forward. However, when done with confidence, compliments can be very effective. Instead of generic compliments like "you're beautiful," which may feel overused, a man can focus on something unique, such as "I love the way you carry yourself, you have such an interesting energy about you." This type of compliment feels more genuine and shows that he is paying attention beyond just physical appearance. It is also important to avoid falling into the nice guy trap, where a man hides his true intentions out of fear of scaring a woman away. Some men believe that if they act as a perfect gentleman without showing any flirtation, a woman will eventually make the first move. But in most cases, this does not happen. Women appreciate men who take the lead. They enjoy the excitement of a man who is confident enough to express his desires openly. This does not mean being aggressive or disrespectful, it simply means not being afraid to create an atmosphere of romance and attraction from the beginning. Additionally, showing intent early helps filter out women who are not interested. Some men waste months or even years pursuing a woman who never saw them as more than a friend in the first place. By making romantic interest clear from the start, a man allows the woman to either reciprocate or show disinterest early on, saving time and emotional energy. If she does not feel the same way, that is okay, there are plenty of other women who will. The key is to be upfront and honest rather than waiting indefinitely for a moment that may never come. One way to naturally transition from friendly conversation to flirting is by using storytelling. Instead of asking generic questions like, "What do you do for fun?" a man can share a short, interesting story about an adventurous experience or a funny situation. This makes the conversation more engaging and provides opportunities for teasing, humor, and playful interaction. If the woman responds well, he can escalate the flirtation by adding elements of challenge, such as, "I bet you couldn't keep up with me if we ever went hiking together." This keeps the interaction lively and fun while reinforcing romantic tension. Attraction is not about logic, it is about feeling. A woman decides whether she is attracted to a man based on how he makes her feel in the moment. If a man is too passive, too cautious, or too afraid to show his intentions, he will blend into the background. But if he is playful, engaging, and unafraid to flirt, he will stand out. Women appreciate men who take the initiative and bring energy into their interactions. Ultimately, flirting and showing intent early is about creating an emotional response. It is about making a woman feel excitement, curiosity, and attraction rather than just comfort. A man who masters this skill will never find himself stuck in the friend zone because he sets the right tone from the very beginning. By being bold, playful, and confident, he transforms every interaction into an opportunity for genuine connection and romance.